So thank you for inviting us into your class. Today's session is to provide you an opportunity to gain more insight and exposure in the field of manufacturing and to assist you in analyzing your own future career choices. So today's guest is coming to us from Metco Industries on Brussels Street in St. Mary's. So Wes Brennen is the HR assistant. Welcome, Wes.
Hi, everybody.
So thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule today. How about if we start by having you tell us a little bit about your company and kind of share your personal career pathway?
Okay. Metco Industries is a powder metal factory in town. It's one of many powder metal factories in town, but we produce metal parts for a couple different industries. We do a lot of parts for automotive. We do a lot of parts for lawn and garden. John Deere is actually our biggest customer, so we do a ton of parts for John Deere. And we also just started to branch into medical industry, and we are producing parts for like hospital beds and different things like that. It's kind of interesting how many different industries actually use powder metal parts, and we kind of try to keep a diverse portfolio, and it kind of helps because when one industry is experiencing a downturn, it seems like another industry is kind of improving and increasing, and so a lot of times we don't get hit as hard when there's an economic downturn by keeping a diverse portfolio. As far as my personal career path, I've been here at Metco for 7 or 8 months now. I just started doing human resources, something I never really saw myself doing, but it's been working out good so far. And I've also have been doing a lot of safety stuff because our safety manager got a new job, so I've been learning and doing stuff in that field as well too, and that's been a big learning curve so far. But yeah, Metco owns a sister facility right up the street at Pro Process. I worked there off and on for about 7 years, and I was in and out of school and working in the summers and winter breaks and stuff like that. Did just about everything I could do up there. I ran machines. It's a lot of CNC work up there. I did a lot of maintenance work, did some office work up there, whatever they needed done. It kind of just, if I was available, it's kind of what I got to do. So learned a lot of different things in a lot of different areas up there, and it was definitely a good thing. Made me more well-rounded, but it was a big learning experience. I also spent time working at Kennedy Signs for about half a year when I just got out of college. I always wanted to be a graphic designer, and a job opened up there, so I was able to work there for a few months and really enjoyed my time there. Then I ended up coming back to Pro Process and mostly did a lot of maintenance work there. And they were able to send me to a electrical class too that I took through Penn State and Pitt Bradford. And it's something I didn't know anything about going in, but I was glad that I got to learn it because I've used it at home and doing different things. It's a good thing to know, good field to get into. But that's mostly about it. I went to school. I went 2 years at IUP, and then I ended up transferring to Slippery Rock. I have a degree in business management, and I wanted a degree in business management because it was kind of a well-rounded degree. You kind of got experience in a lot of different fields, but I didn't get to specialize in any one field really. But I got my feet wet in a lot of different business fields, which kind of helps now because I have a little bit of experience with everything. But like I said, it almost hurt too because I didn't specialize in any one thing. But when a job opened up here for human resources, I was able to fit in nicely, and it's been working out well so far.
It sounds like that they offer a lot of training at your company that you can kind of move around and advance up, and they even send you away for some training. So that's great.
Yeah. Just this week, we've sent people to kind of a blueprint reading class. It was offered through Penn State Du Bois downtown, and there's another class there too as well. I think they kind of went over procedures and stuff like that to meet certain qualifications for processing and different things like that.
Okay. So you kind of talked about like what other jobs you've done, a lot of jobs there. So that's kind of you talked about other jobs that the company has. Is there anything you missed, and anything that you haven't done there that they have available?
Well, most of my time was spent at Pro Process, which is they do like our secondary machining with the CNC work and drills and stuff. So I kind of know more about that end than I do the actual powdered metal manufacturing and processing part of it. But I did, when I came down here, I spent about a week in each department trying to get familiar with the process. And so I do know some of it. And I brought a couple parts here too, if you'd be interested in looking at the parts. I have a couple.
Yeah, if you want to share them, that'd be great.
There's a couple John Deere parts. This is a sprocket. I think it's used in one of their tractors. It has a bearing inside. I believe this is another John Deere part. Not totally sure what this one does, but it has threads inside. The threading inside is something Pro Process would have done, because it's added after the part is pressed and baked through our sintering ovens. This part here is it goes in stair lifts. It's one of our medical parts. Maybe some of you guys know people that have stair lifts in their home. This is kind of like the track, so the chair rides up and down on it. This part here, I did a lot of these parts up at Pro Process. You see the holes that are drilled in the top. This goes into a steering assembly for automotive. We did a lot of parts for these up at Pro Process. And this part here goes into a shock assembly for vehicles. This tube is actually hollow, and it moves compressed gas up and down through the tube and into different cylinders. So that's kind of interesting. But those are just a couple of different parts here.
So that our students understand, so Metco pretty much makes the part from the powder, and then you send it to Pro Process to finish it off.
Yeah, we'll get the powder shipped in big like cardboard drums, and then the powder goes up into the press, and then the press comes down and forms the part, and then we gotta send it through the ovens to get it to melt together so it's strong. And after that is when it gets a lot of the secondary processes. We use a lot of different secondary shops in the area too, not just Pro Process, even though it's our main one. But we send parts all over the area from, everywhere in the county almost, to Du Bois, to Reynoldsville, to all over. So it's kind of interesting how everybody kind of works together and all the businesses rely on each other in the area too.
So about how many employees do you have at each place?
Metco has, I think, between 100 and 150 right now. And Pro Process has about 40 to 50 right now. Both places do all 3 shifts. So, and we've been busy on the weekends lately too. So kind of through COVID, it was interesting too, because a lot of the businesses in the area were, kind of in a recession, and we were too, but we ended up making out okay because we produced a part for air conditioners, and this supply or the demand for the air conditioners throughout the summer was crazy. So they kind of kept us running all summer, and we didn't miss a lot of time here, luckily.
Well, that's good to hear. So do you hire students at all for part-time work or throughout the summer?
Yeah, yep. A lot of times in the summer, we'll hire students for a lot of maintenance help and just like cutting grass, painting, stuff like that. But I think you have to be 18 to run a lot of the equipment and machinery in here. But sometimes there are different things they can do inside too. But yeah, we do. We are always are looking for student help.
Okay. So what motivates you to do what you do?
The biggest thing, I do like working with people. Sometimes it does get tiring, but I do enjoy it. Also, I'm glad I don't have to deal with the production stress and meeting a lot of the deadlines and dealing with customers. I kind of get to deal with the personal end of it. I deal with different insurance reps and stuff like that, so I get to meet people from outside the company, but I also get to know every employee individually, and it's kind of interesting seeing all the different people and different backgrounds and stuff, and getting them all to come here and work together for at least 8 hours a day it's interesting, and I enjoy that part of it.
So as an HR, you're doing the hiring. How can someone entering this career industry stand out in the crowd?
That's a good question. Just come to work every day. Work hard. Just be reliable. That's the biggest thing. If somebody can depend on you, you're gonna stand out from the crowd. Just if you show up to work every day, put your head down and work hard, and you're willing to do things that the other people in your area or department aren't willing to do. That's the biggest way to stand out. If you accept added responsibility, then your boss or supervisor is going to be able to trust you more, and that just helps you stand out from the rest of the crowd.
Good advice. So, do you guys require drug testing?
Yes, we do. We usually drug test when you're hired, and it's usually not again after that. If there's an accident and something happens, a lot of times we have to drug test then, but it doesn't happen very often that there's an accident. But if there are, we have to drug test afterwards for liability reasons.
And what would you say like the average starting wage is?
For beginners with little experience, or starting wage is about $12 an hour right now. But when people do have experience and stuff, that wage gets moved up a little bit. It kind of depends. And like our system's kind of set up we have a 30, 60, 90-day evaluation. And by the 90-day evaluation, you usually have a raise if you are meeting expectations. And a lot of times, if you exceed expectations, you'll get a raise before the 90 days too. But that's where we usually start out.
So, what kind of jobs do you have that are pretty common that you're hiring for, or that you're looking for?
I mostly deal with like the operator end of it, people that will operate machinery like at Metco, like press operators. The press comes out. The press kind of runs on its own, but it will crank the parts out and it comes out onto a tray, and then the operators will have to pick up the part and kind of inspect it for like visual defects and stuff like that. But they'll also have to weigh it, do different quality tests on it to make sure it's up to spec, and it will be a quality part for the customer as well. So like we have different mics, measuring devices. We have 2 or 3 different quality labs with different equipment in it to measure different things like hardness and weight and like the surface area, stuff like that. We also have the oven operators kind of load and unload ovens, and that gets interesting too because each part is baked a different way, different temperatures for different times, and you have to stack them different ways sometimes so they don't. And then some of them you can't stack together because they'll melt together, and then you can't have that either. But and then at Pro Process we hire like lathe or mill operators that will manually run the parts up there too, and then they do different quality checks on them up there as well too, with mics and comparators and different types of measuring equipment up there as well.
So what type of skills, are you looking for when you're hiring somebody?
For basic entry level, the biggest thing I look for is just to be reliable and just to have like a good personality almost, just to know you're going to fit in and be able to work with people. Is like a lot of the entry level people don't have a lot of experience, so you have to kind of evaluate other areas and see if they're going to be able to fit in and do the job, and just be willing to learn is the biggest thing. I didn't know anything when I started working up here, and you feel really dumb at first because these people do it day in and day out, and then you come in, you're brand new to it, and it's interesting. I got good grades through school and stuff too, and then I got up here to work and I started doing different things, and I felt really dumb at first, but you kind of learn fast, and you just have to be willing to work with people and fit in and just try to learn the dynamics of the work area and stuff like that.
Do you have any advice for resumes, like what you are looking for on a resume?
Yeah. A lot of time, if any like extracurricular activities for high school kids, I would put that on your resume if you're trying to get a job right away out of high school. Captains of teams and leaders of different clubs and stuff like that. I'm sure you guys have like class officers and treasurers and stuff like that. I would definitely put that on there. Yeah, anything that you would think you would make you stand out a little bit more from the crowd, I would definitely put that on your resume.
So, what kind of benefits do you guys offer?
We have health, vision, and dental. Typically, that's available after an employee goes through their 90-day trial training period. We have health, vision, and dental. We have life insurance policy. We don't have workers' comp, or I think it's workers' comp, but you can enroll through AFLAC. We have a rep that comes in here once or twice a year, so you can enroll with that. And we do offer a 401k too as well.
Those are good benefits to have.
Yeah, they probably don't mean much in high school, but they will at some point.
So if you have someone come in and they're working for a while and they say, I'm really interested in this other job, what do you do to like help them get there?
Yeah, a lot of times we try to work with that employee, and if they're interested in a different job, as long as we can make it work at the time, we try to work with them and make that happen. A lot of times though, it's tough because they might be a reliable worker in another department, And to pull them out of that department and put them in a different department sometimes isn't the best move for the company at that time. But we always try to work with them. We have a guy in maintenance right now that started in packing. He was basically a packing shipping operator for a few years, and he wanted to go into maintenance and start learning stuff like that. Now he's going to be running our maintenance department in the near future, and he's going to head that department. So it's kind of interesting how you start in one area and sometimes you end up doing something you didn't quite see yourself doing, but you exceed at it and you do really well. And he's doing really well for himself.
Now, you mentioned that you had gone off to take some electrical classes. Now, did the company, do they sponsor, do they pay for that kind of training then?
Yeah, the class I took, I believe, was free through a grant or something somehow. But yeah, the employees we sent to classes this week, the company paid for them to go the blueprint class and the processing class. Yeah, that's usually never out of the employee's pocket.
Okay. So what is the best career advice you've ever received, or what advice do you have for students today?
My biggest thing is never ever pass up an opportunity to learn something new. No matter what, even if you think you're never going to use it, just if you have the opportunity to learn something, learn it, learn what you can, and take it with you. Because I didn't even see myself doing maintenance, but all of a sudden I was doing maintenance, and then I had an opportunity to take an electrical class. And even now that I'm not doing maintenance, I use the electrical stuff in my house and different areas all the time. Even a lot of things I did with maintenance, I know how to do when something happens at the house. You just never know. And sometimes you're sitting in class and you think, oh, I'll never have to use this. And sometimes that is the case, but sometimes you're going to need it later on and you're going to wish you paid attention. And I just never pass up an opportunity to learn something new because it'll make you a better learner and a better person and better worker too.
That's great advice. Very great advice. I think that's about all the questions I have. Do you have anything additional you want to add?
See if I have anything here. Another area that would be good to get into now is like automation and robots and stuff. That's getting bigger and bigger in the area, and it usually pays pretty well if you can learn the ins and outs of robots, learn how to program them. That's a good field to get into. Other than that, I don't know if I have too much more. I don't know if you want to do a Q&A now or.
Yep. Yeah, Chris, do the students have any additional questions?
Anybody? Hey, I'll ask a question. Just curious, most people that you hire, do they have college degrees or are they right out of high school? Do you prefer one way or the other?
A lot of people here we hire out of high school, especially to begin. And there's people running departments now that don't have a college degree, never been to college. Their work ethic is what kind of makes them stand out from everybody else, and their ability to learn and just be reliable and dependable. But I mean, we do obviously have jobs with people that went to college, engineers and different like business people in the office. But most of the people with college degrees here are engineers, but a lot of people, like I said, that are running departments now don't have a college degree and they're doing very well for themselves.
I have one for you. Do you have a machine shop? Like, you make your own tooling there?
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. We have a machine shop in Metco here that will deal with the tools and stuff, do a lot of stuff like that. I think we do use other tool and die shops in the area too. And like Pro Process is also kind of a machine shop too, because they're able to kind of drill the holes and different secondary processes like that. But we do have a shop inside Metco here that does a lot of that stuff too in-house.
So if we had a student that was interested in doing some, like, getting into machine shop work, would you take on like maybe an apprentice, or like, would they come in and learn? Or would they?
I would think so. I can run it by the managers and stuff, but I know we have had a couple students that do the school to work thing. And it's worked out pretty well so far. So if someone's interested in learning that side of it, please, I think you can apply. You should be able to apply on our website. Just mention that you want to be like an apprentice or stuff like that, or you can give me a call. But yeah, we could try to make that work. I also have to run it by the managers and stuff too.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions?
No.
I think that's it. I don't think we have any more questions.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Wes, for joining us today. It was some
Thank you.
great information and some great advice. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gavazzi and students. Bye.